I'm gonna go live, okay?
Hi there, thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm Shannon, the SEO specialist at Plytix, and today is our third PSR event. As you know, we're going to be discussing product SEO for e-commerce. The content that I'm going to cover today is going to include a short introduction to Plytix Social Responsibility and what that means to us, what search engine optimization entails, product page SEO elements you need to consider, and how to create a product SEO strategy. At the end, we'll do a quick Q&A. But first, Plytix PSR. Plytix is a PIM, a product information management system, and we focus on small businesses. The purpose of these workshops or virtual events are truly aimed at sharing knowledge and giving back to SMBs in the e-commerce space. We've got so many experts with tips and tricks at their fingertips, so we hope to share that information with you and help you thrive online. So enjoy and let's get started. What is search engine optimization or SEO? SEO is an organic process of making your online store more visible, right? There are so many different actions and techniques that you can take to A, help your store rank higher and hopefully appear on the first page of Google, B, drive more traffic to your store, and C, increase conversions. But good to know, SEO is not a once-off process. There are so many different things that you need to consider and it takes careful attention. It's your responsibility to monitor your product performance and optimize accordingly as things change. But the main benefits of SEO are, it's organic, so that means it's free. So this is an incredibly cost-effective solution for small businesses. Of course, if you have a small budget, it works perfectly with a paid campaign. So don't be shy to use that as well. SEO also provides a better user engagement rate. What does that mean? It means that you're able to answer queries and questions that people search for directly through your product content. Here are some interesting SEO stats. Search engines are the starting point for 68% of online experiences. It's estimated that the first spot on organic search can get you a click-through rate of 34%. Now, that's pretty crazy if you think about the fact that you're not paying for it. There's no paid advertising that's going towards that. More than 90% of all website pages receive zero organic traffic from Google. Now, what does that mean? That means that 90% of all website content is not good enough to be indexed. So there's so many websites that are missing out on the potential with organic search. B2B companies generate 2 times more revenue from organic search than any other sales channel. So if you feel that you're missing out, I hope the next tips and tricks can assist you with that. Okay, so before we jump into the different elements, I need to explain the differences between homepage SEO and product page SEO. It's very important. Your homepage targets short tail keywords, which is basically very high volume competitive keywords. Whereas your product pages, your product listings, or your category pages will target long tail keywords, and those are more phrases. So here's an example. A short tail keyword would be a white sofa, whereas a long tail keyword would be a white 2-seater sofa for small apartments. Basically, that's giving you the opportunity to really hone into like a niche category and focus on areas that maybe every other competitor is not targeting. Now, your homepage is the first customer touch point in your store. Your product page, however, people will only really discover it through specific searches. Your homepage is also complementary to your product strategy, whereas your product pages, your listings, and your category pages are the key. Those are the money makers. That's where people add products to cart, make a purchase, etc. So if you can, focus your core strategy around your products. All right, so product page SEO. I'm starting with the main elements now. So Product page SEO includes so many different elements. For instance, your product title, a product description, some images and videos. This page is crucial because it truly tells the story that you're trying to sell. It's important that you create an attractive, visually appealing page, as well as ensuring that it's optimized for search engines. Next, your URL optimization. All right, so your URL, in layman's terms, is a human readable text that was designed to replace the numbers in your IP address. When putting together your URL, make sure that the information you include is very concise and it includes keywords that you want to focus on. Try to keep it under 100 characters. And as you can see, here's an example. So for instance, if you're trying to focus on a specific role, here we've included charcoal grills. We've also included, for instance, the 70th anniversary kettle. Maybe that's a promotion that you're running, as well as the hot rod yellow, and that's the color. This is the information that search engines and your shoppers are going to use to understand what the page is about. Right, so your product title. Next up. The product title is the name of your product, and that's going to display at the top of the page. It gives your shoppers and search engines or crawlers a good indication of what you're selling. Try and be as concise as possible and be very strategic. So if you can, include the brand as well as a powerful feature. Next, your product page tagging. So there is a very specific way that you need to structure your content for HTML. Basically, this means back-end coding purposes, right? So there's 6 different tags, namely H1, and it goes straight down to H6, right? It's super important that you use the right tags because it will tell Google exactly what you're speaking about, as well as the keywords you want to target. When putting together these tags, make sure that you do not duplicate them. Each tag needs to be unique, and try and incorporate descriptions or descriptive words and keywords that you want to rank for. Next is your meta title and meta description. This information will be shown in search engines. Your meta title should not be more than 70 characters and your meta description 155. Why? Because it's easier for crawlers to understand what you're speaking about, and this is the ideal length for any device that you're searching on, so be it your desktop or your mobile. Here we have the breadcrumb menu. So this is not common, although it should be. And basically what this means is it's just a simple way to trail back and forth between pages in a website without actually having to leave. So basically what this means is you can search a variety of different things without ever having to leave the page. This is great for obviously bounce rates, as you can imagine, and it's perfect for navigational purposes. As you can see, here's a great example. Someone started with technology, they moved into cameras, of course, mirrorless cameras, and then a specific brand and a specific type of camera with a certain lens. If they wanted to go back, they could clearly just click and they wouldn't have to leave the page at all. So try this in terms of your e-commerce website. Your product description. Okay, so this is one of the most important things on your product page. Why? Because it's the marketing copy that explains exactly what the product's about. So try and use images, try and use videos, etc. and try and tell the story that helps users really imagine what a product is about. So, you know, at the end of the day, you're trying to create the same in-store experience that they would get at a physical store. So, you know, paint the picture, incorporate keywords, etc. so that they feel comfortable with making a purchase. Next is image optimization. This is honestly something that most people just forget about or they don't feel carries that much weight, but it's very important. Why? The images that you use are crucial. You do not want to use stock images and you should try and avoid them because they're not unique. There's probably so many different websites that are using the same images. So if you can, use your own product photography. Next, make sure that you add a title to your images. This will tell Google exactly what it's about, as well as an alternative text. Alternative text should not be more than 125 characters. Basically what this is if, for instance, an image is broken online, it's still going to allow crawlers to understand exactly what that image is, and it's an opportunity for you to incorporate keywords and rank. All right, so video. Of course, video, multimedia is ideal for any product page. You want to incorporate video where you can. Another opportunity to rank is through video transcripts. Why? Because it acts as written content and you can incorporate different keywords, etc. If possible, try and use a thumbnail so that people actually click through to the video and they don't just view it in your site. And then of course, don't embed the same video on multiple different pages. Why? Because this is still considered duplicate content, which Google does not like. Next is open graph content. So if you're someone that posts on social media a lot, this is very important, and take note. Essentially what open graph means is it's a way that you can optimize the copy that appears on a social media channel when you share a specific product. If you don't edit it or optimize it the way you want it, these social channels will just use a specific auto-generated piece of text, and that's how it's going to appear. So if you want a specific image, a specific title with a keyword, or a specific snippet, then make sure that you optimize your open graph content. Ratings and product reviews. So maximize reviews and ratings as much as possible. Not only is it ideal for customer experiences, but again, it's another opportunity for you to rank in those snippets. Whew, a mouthful, right? I know. Okay, so now we've gotten to the fun side of things. This is putting together your strategy. I'm going to walk you through 6 core steps that you need when putting together your SEO strategy for your e-commerce business. Of course, please consider the previous elements mentioned and incorporate those into your strategy as well. So, the first step, keyword research. Honestly, this is the most important, it's fundamental in your SEO strategy. Why? Because it's an opportunity for you to find and analyze specific search terms that people are searching for online. It also teaches you a little bit more about your target audience and what their needs are. Fortunately, there are multiple different free tools that you can use, namely SEMrush, Ahrefs, Screaming Frog, or Ubersuggest. And each of these tools have their strengths, but make sure that you explore them when doing your keyword research. 2, conduct competitor research. Now, just like any business, you want to do a competitor analysis. But in terms of SEO, this means looking at specific links, different keywords, or different content that your competitors are putting out there or ranking for, right? So when doing your competitor research, find and analyze any search terms that your competitors are using and hone in on those elements. Use them as different tactics in your own SEO strategy. 3, optimize all elements of your store, front and back. So I would say that this is the most important step for me, just because, as I said, it's front and back end, right? It's not just about creating these beautiful product descriptions, adding nice images and videos, etc. It's also about your meta content, your alt text, etc. Everything that sits in the back end and is shown to search engines. So when you're optimizing, don't neglect any of your pages. Don't just focus on your product pages, your listings, product categories, etc. Remember that customers can come to your website in any way and through any channel. So make sure that you incorporate keywords to your home page, your About Us page, etc. 4, simplify your site architecture. Focus on your filtering. Now, what does that mean? It means that when you have a ton of different products, it becomes super overwhelming for people to try and navigate your website. So when you focus on your filtering or taxonomies, it just makes it easier for people to find different things and find exactly what they're looking for online. Also, try and incorporate as many internal links as possible, and by that it means linking between different product pages. Why? It just ensures that there's a constant flow of link juice between the pages that complement each other. 5. The importance of responsive design and site speed. So this is not just a user experience element. In fact, it's also a ranking factor. It's super important to hone in on your functionality and make sure that your web store is consistent on any device. So again, your desktop or your mobile. Google will always favor and promote the websites that are putting together a great user experience. So look at all areas, your content, your visuals, your design, your functionality, etc. It's a full holistic approach. 6. Build backlinks for your e-commerce site. Honestly, this is a very important point, and it's quite time consuming as well, so people tend to forget about it. Basically, what backlinks do is they influence your domain authority. What is that? So the higher your domain authority or rating is, the more trustworthy you consider it, right? So try and link between your website and maybe external websites. The more links you get, the more votes Google considers you to have. So it's very important to work on your backlink profile as well. Okay, so it seems like we've come to the end, and now it's time for some questions and answers. Sorry, just waiting for some questions in the chat.
Can my meta title tag be the same as my product title, says Suleiman.
Oh, nice. Perfect question. Okay, so no, as I mentioned earlier, your title tag is different to your product title. Your title tag in terms of meta is everything that appears in the search engine, right? Your product title is everything a shopper is going to see. So it's anything that's going to entice them to make a purchase. Maybe as we go back to the camera example, maybe they're looking for a specific lens or specific brand or a feature. That's what's always going to appear in your product title, whereas the meta is everything related for crawlers to search.
How are product keywords different to the homepage ones?
Good question. So homepage keywords or any other normal keywords are basically very general. So it would include things like what are, or best, if we consider the sofa example again, best white sofa near me, or how can I do this? It's very general, whereas like when it comes to your product listings and your product pages, everything is very specific to your products and the items you're selling. So again, you want to make sure that you're mentioning white, two-seater sofa, ideal for small apartments. This is showing that A, it's perfect for small spaces, it's two-seater, being super descriptive, and it's white. So everything on your homepage, your About Us page, any other page on your website, it's very much general. And always remember, people can come to your website through any keywords, so try and incorporate them all and don't neglect any of them.
You read it so people can hear it. What happens to my SEO?
All right, so what happens to my SEO if I remove a product on my web store? That's a good question. So if, for instance, you decide that a product is maybe not part of your promotion anymore, or you want to get rid of it, the most important thing to do is always to redirect that page. So why? Because if you just decide to remove something, it might lead to a 404, which is an error. And in technical terms, that can become a penalty. So you want to direct it to a page that is on your website, for instance, the category page. And especially if that product brought you a lot of traffic, you want to maintain that traffic and just send it somewhere else. So always redirect.
If I use keywords.
Okay, so if I use keywords in my website, then why do I need a blog? All right, so a blog is basically just another way for customers to find you, to find out about your web store, as well as your products. So it's just a great opportunity for you to inform and educate. For example, if you have a new product coming out, perhaps you're selling fashion and there's a new trend, it's a great way for you to really, expand, inform, etc. And again, people can arrive on your website through multiple sources. So this is just another way that people can get to you.
Good. I don't see any more
Perfect.
questions.
All right, so yeah, now we've come to the end. If you have a moment, please can you complete this or scan this code so that you can leave us some feedback, some tips, anything that we can use to improve future events. That will be greatly appreciated.